So today, I kind of want to get into the topic of leaving your past life, leaving your past identity. And what I mean by that is more like of a toxic identity, a past toxic character of you, if that makes any sense. A better example would be the partying life of you. Every weekend, blacking out, spending all of your hard-earned cash at the clubs, with the girls, whatever it may be. Or it could be you smoking weed, doing drugs, and having the same people every time around you during those times. That's what I mean about leave your past life, leave your past identity. Because when you do that stuff, that's who you are. You're a drug user, you're a partier, you know, the list goes on. And you just stick with that identity because you're comfortable with it. Especially if you've been doing this since you were, a teenager, you think it's normal. It's so life-consuming. It's like when I was in that phase of my life of like drinking and partying every weekend, I think the only thing that got me out of like a major problem was mixed martial arts, because I was pretty heavy into the drinking and bad influences. I lived with the bad influences, but I can't only blame the bad influences, I gotta blame myself too, because I put myself in that position. But the point is, like, we have to put a foot down and cut everyone off and completely leave that identity that we once were. And how do we do that? We have to replace the habit that we're currently in. As I was saying, the past habit that helped me break my first phase of the crazy drinking and partying was the mixed martial arts, where I was training. I had just started training, but I was living with bad influences at the same time. I was just so into the UFC that I got interested in wanting to start training. And I finally grew the balls to pull the trigger and actually call up a gym and say, hey, like, what's the pricing? What's the schedule like? And I one day went, and the rest is history. I stopped agreeing to every party. I stopped agreeing to every drink. I stopped agreeing to every blunt. And it reduces the amount of things you're putting into your body, which means it gives you more headspace, more of a clear headspace to actually think through what you're actually doing. Because when you're in those moments where you're, high out your mind and drunk off your mind every weekend, every day, when you wake up, you're still not clear-headed. You're still drowned in the toxins, So it's so easy to continue of making bad mistakes. So when I started doing martial arts, it gave me that tiny little bit of extra headroom to use my brain a little bit more. And it's crazy because you don't really realize things like these until, you go through them. It gave me that little extra headroom to think, make more clear decisions. And basically, overall, it helped me make better decisions, clear decisions. And, sometimes that's all that we really need. It's just a little bit of space for us to make better decisions. So that's where the bit of my life changing started happening. Don't get me wrong. Now, instead of just partying every weekend and smoking every day, I was training pretty heavy too. So it's not like I completely stopped, not even close. Now I was partying heavy and training hard. But when I was training hard, I was training 2 hours a day or even 3 hours on the weekend. And those 2 hours, if you add them up every day, it turns into a couple of hours. So now those are hours of free space, clear-headed moments and thoughts where you can make better decisions and really take a step back from what you're doing and say, oh, wow, this is what I'm doing. Like, I can finally see it now. God damn, we're in the trenches. And I was training hard, partying hard, drinking hard, but I still had that little extra space of headroom, clear headroom, instead of just being completely drowned in my artificial fantasy that I was living a life I was supposed to live of, pure craziness and whatnot. That was just one step towards where I actually needed to go. It wasn't a lot, but looking back, that one step made me come to the point where I'm at now. Because if I would have never taken that step, like, where would I been? Like, maybe I would have gotten a DUI, maybe I would have crashed and drive one night, something, you know? Because it's only a matter of time before you do something that's like diabolical and destroys you completely. It's only a matter of time. So the question is, where would I been, and how important just deciding to take one right step in the right direction can completely change your whole outlook and your whole future. So fast forward to this point on, I've always wanted to do YouTube. I'm doing YouTube now. I'm getting some traction, some success. I've posted YouTube videos since about March when I got back from my Mexico trip. I posted all of my Mexico trips, barely got any traction at all. Then I went to Thailand 2 weeks later, boom, edited all that, barely got any traction at all on that either. For the last 4 months I've been posting, and I've gotten about 250,000 channel views, complete overall channel views. And I completed 200 subscribers, and man, I was happy. I was so happy. I even made a YouTube video called like thank you or whatever. That's how genuinely happy I was, and I still am. But I'm just saying at the point of like, I was like, wow, 200 subscribers, dude. Like, I never even thought I was gonna get 100. But anyways, point is, I buy this motorcycle. I've had it for about a month and a half now, and I just started posting motorcycle content. I already have all types of cameras. I have my DJI Pocket, my DJI Action 5. You know, I have all these cameras. So all I really had to do was buy a chin mount, and I just attached it to my helmet, and I just started posting, you know, just me driving. Now that I started posting my motorcycle content, I got from 250,000. I got 250,000 oh shit. Oops, that was embarrassing. I was in second gear. I didn't even realize that. Excuse my my rookiness on this shit. But yeah, so 250,000 channel views, 200 subscribers, and to this day, at this very moment, I'm at 2,100 subscribers, 10 million channel views. From 200 subscribers to 2,000, it took about a month. So I went from 4 months of posting, getting no traction, to, and within 1 month, like more than 10 times, 10xing that. It's so crazy. I never thought that like me just simply riding a motorcycle would have gotten me that far, like that many views, you know? My point is where I continue about breaking your old identity, completely breaking it, changing it, removing all your old friends. These coordinate with each other, because my old identity was based on partying, drinking, getting shit-faced with the boys, and you know, that's no good, no bueno. That definitely had to change. I say all this stuff together because of what I said earlier about you have to replace the habits. I replaced some of my habits with the mixed martial arts, got me healthy. It took off from the time that I had to party and drink to go train with the boys, and I started doing competitions and stuff. I've recently started falling off on training a little bit. I want to put the blame on this bad boy. I've been trying to ride every day and practice every day and get as good as I can. So I kind of somewhat replace those with each other, but not all the way. Don't get me wrong. I would never do that. I plan on getting back to full-on training very soon. It's another different type of thrill. This is what I think. At the end of the day, as men, it's almost like a thrill-seeking adventure. You start doing MMA and crazy, thinking about getting punched or punching someone in the face. It's pretty wild thinking it that way. So, you know, when you get up in there, your heart starts beating. You're like, damn, you know, it's about to go down. I'm about to throw down with the boys and shit. We about to grapple. We about to swing on each other. And it feels good. So, you know, there's adrenaline, there's a thrill from that. You know, this motorcycle is the same way. Adrenaline, there's a thrill to riding. And, you know, these are obviously dangerous thrills. They're also very therapeutic. The same way punching someone or getting punched, trying to dodge their hits so you don't get fucking rocked, is dangerous. At the same time, it's also therapeutic. Same with this bad boy, you know. It's like, I used to think that smoking, drinking, partying is what makes somebody feel alive. Man, try riding your motorcycle at midnight. through these crazy Chicago streets. So it doesn't sound too crazy, but man, this is like, life is good, man. I never knew how, I honestly never knew how therapeutic a motorcycle could be till I got one. All this comes from destroying your old identity. Break out of that person. Start off with one step. I don't care if it's yoga, jiu-jitsu, anything, man. Just make sure you break out of that old habit. Start off like that. Start doing something. I'm finally getting what I want. The YouTube, everything. I say all that to get to this final point. I've cut off most of my partying. I'm not gonna say all of it, but a big chunk of it. And I'm still not happy with that. I wanna cut it off completely. And if I can't do that, I'm gonna at least do most of it, 95% of it. Don't get me wrong, man, we're still young. It's gonna get to a point where completely cut it off, been there, done that. And if it wasn't for me changing my habits, I would have never even thought about making YouTube videos or ever got into this point of where I can own a bike, be somewhat financially decent. And it all starts with one step. You can do anything you set your mind to. And I honestly do believe that. Boys and girls, that is the importance of breaking the identity of your old past. Nobody's gonna care. Only your 2-3 fakest friends are gonna say something to you that, oh, you changed. Oh, you're fake. Oh, you don't want to party anymore. But when people say stuff like that, that's a cry. That's an internal cry from themselves. Basically saying, please don't change. I'm not ready to change yet. If you change, I'll be in this drug-induced, alcohol-induced fantasy of mine alone, without you, which means I'll have to spend my own money to do it, and I'll have to do it alone. Don't fall for that trap where they say, oh, you changed and stuff like that. Yeah, I did change for the better. You know what I mean? People are crazy, man. Of course I'm gonna change. You want to be a lowlife for the rest of my life? Like what? Make it make sense. If you know something is ruining your life, remember, you're the one that controls it. Change your identity, man. Switch up your clothes, switch up your hairstyle. That one tiny step, man, can take you so far along. That's all I got from me, guys. That was my midnight ramble. Hope this helps someone. Been there, done that. And I plan on changing even more and completely cutting that whole side of bullshit off and starting a whole new chapter. And maybe we can start it together. Peace out, guys. Love you guys. Later.